Next on Worcester News tonight, a lightning strike causes major damage to a home in Westborough. The family talks about their startling wake-up call. Plus, a central Massachusetts town is considering the idea of giving Gold Star families an exemption on property taxes. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. The National Weather Service has canceled a severe thunderstorm watch for central Massachusetts. The heat and humidity fueled a few storms this afternoon, so is it starting to calm down a bit? Here's a first look at our forecast with meteorologist Pamela Gardner.
Hey there, good evening. We're still tracking a couple thunderstorms, but they're starting to move out of central Massachusetts, while across the Great Plains, wow, a tornado outbreak occurring this evening. So some dangerous weather across the country in some spots, and thunderstorm threats until about 9 o'clock. Moderate risk of damaging winds and hail. Lightning, flooding, rain, brief tornado threat is wrapping up as we go through the forecast this evening. But those storms and showers continue to push out of central Massachusetts, and you see our temperatures slowly decrease after highs soared into the 70s and low 80s, some mid 80s. Across southern New England, it was a fascinating afternoon for us, and it was awfully humid, so that's what helped fuel some of those showers and thunderstorm chances. But overnight tonight, the cold front passes through, it exits Worcester County, and we're going to have cooler temperatures in store for Tuesday and less humid weather. Dry all the way through midweek, so Wednesday looking nice and sunny too. End of the week, we have a chance for a couple of showers in your 10-day forecast. Memorial Day weekend, it does not look like a washout, but I am tracking some rain. More in just a few minutes.
And the weather kicking off the work week with a bang. Thunderstorms caused damage across central Massachusetts. In Westborough, a family had a loud wake-up call when lightning struck in their front yard. Our Roslyn Flaherty spoke with the homeowner today and joins us now with more. Roslyn.
Olivia, it was definitely a frightening wake-up call. The homeowner says when he looked outside, he could not believe what he saw.
There was just a large boom.
Lowell Ackerman woke up Monday morning to this. Trees split and torn apart all over his property in Westborough.
It was shocking.
A severe thunderstorm rolled through the area overnight. It also shattered the glass of his living room window.
It was really just a boom that blew the windows out into the house.
His neighbor on Hundreds Road captured the thunder on surveillance video. Debris also flew into his yard.
Piece of lumber in the backyard's about, 18 inches off from the wall of my house. If that thing would have went through my house, I got little kids sleeping upstairs and, it turned out okay.
Westborough Fire Chief Patrick Purcell says lightning strikes are rare in town, but they do happen and people need to take precautions.
If you hear thunder, it's probably time to go inside. You probably should stay inside for up to 30 minutes after a storm ends. And, we want to stay away from concrete walls, concrete floors.
Ackerman says while he has a lot of cleaning up to do, he's thankful no one was hurt.
Property can be fixed and things can be replaced.
Now, Ackerman says he has no power. He says he isn't sure how much it will cost to fix his home, but estimates it will be expensive. Roslyn Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Sparks flying and metal grinding on the roadway when Oxford police pulled over a man suspected of drunk driving. The department shared this picture of what was left of the man's tire on Facebook. The driver, whose name was not released, told police he thought he was in Northborough. He was arrested and charged with operating under the influence of liquor. Police say it wasn't the man's first offense. As a way to honor fallen service members, a selectman in Holden is suggesting the town use the Gold Star parent tax exemption. The article would allow parents or guardians who lost a serviceman or woman to be exempt from property taxes. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now from Holden, where the town meeting is expected to start. Chandler.
Olivia, this is Article 25 out of 26 articles at tonight's town meeting. It's also one of 2 veteran-related articles. It's a clause in state law they're trying to adopt locally here in Holden. American flags honor service and sacrifice in a Holden cemetery.
Town with a pretty decent military history, obviously. There's families here that have been here for generations with all members of their family being in the military.
Town meeting voters are considering adding a Gold Star parent tax exemption to their laws. It would mean any parents or guardians of active duty military members who died or went missing in action wouldn't have to pay property taxes.
Families that have served in the military make a lot of sacrifice. And so if this can pass in Holden, I think that's a good idea for those families.
Griffin Norum says the move honors families of the brave. Unlike times where there was a draft, he says it sounds like it would work without putting the town in debt.
But in the modern day and age where the military is mainly a volunteer service, it's a lot easier with the limited amount of people serving, it's a lot less likely to have deaths in your family.
Some haven't made up their mind on the article. Nick Spodek says it could be a step in showing support, but says there may be better ones, like a new memorial to honor the fallen instead.
I think that it's a hard thing to put the value of a life in a monetary sense.
David Dickman has lived in Holden his whole life and supports the tax exemption. He says it may only be the beginning.
I would suspect if Holden got it and got it passed, I would think you'd see a lot of towns wanting to do the same, absolutely.
The town meeting is at 7 o'clock in the Wachusett Regional High School auditorium. They need about 130 people to attend the meeting to call it to order. Select Board Chair Anthony Renzoni expects the article will pass. Live in Holden, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
A new plaque is dedicated to Army Corporal Paul Bellino this weekend at Worcester's East Park. Corporal Bellino was one of 70 Americans killed in action at the Battle of Hamburger Hill during the Vietnam War. Bellino grew up in the neighborhood by East Park. An old plaque used to hang on the pool house but was lost in renovations. Members of his family and Worcester police officer Sean Lovely worked to get the replacement. Saturday was the 50-year anniversary of Corporal Bellino's death. A new tool could help hearing impaired drivers better communicate with police officers. The Visor card is simply placed in the car. The driver would point to it during a situation like a traffic stop. As our Brittany Schaefer explains, Worcester police say it will help law enforcement better communicate.
This is the Visor card, which you place behind your visor.
Joan Phillip is taking advantage of the new Deaf Visor cards.
I do have one already, yes, and all of my children have them.
The cards allow people who are deaf or hard of hearing to better communicate with police when pulled over. It lets officers know the person cannot understand their instructions. Phillip says communication can be difficult for deaf people, especially in stressful situations.
One of my classmates, a police officer had pulled them over, and the driver was trying to gesture and communicate and write back and forth, and the police officers, they were being threatened, so they grabbed them, they arrested them, and brought them to jail.
The Visor cards are now being distributed across the state. Worcester's Director of Human Rights and Disabilities says they are needed.
We needed to standardize and provide information that was correct to both deaf residents, but also to police and enforcement officers. So they understood what the protocol was, but also how to mitigate any kind of miscommunication and safety risks.
The Worcester Police Department says they were big advocates for the cards and say it could help avoid a mishap.
The officer tells somebody, keep your hands on the steering wheel, and someone's not doing it, it makes the officer get nervous. And if the officer can see this placard, realize that the person is deaf or hearing impaired, they're not just, intentionally not listening to them. It's a very different situation. We have trained all the officers here and how to deal with the deaf and hearing impaired.
Massachusetts is among only a few states who have Deaf Visor cards.
Safety was a major concern. It will be a great way of communicating. It's wonderful.
Has pictures for officers to point to, like license and registration, while on the other side it has officers a best way for them to communicate with deaf drivers. Now these cards are available in Worcester at the Center for Living and Working. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A child in New Hampshire has been diagnosed with the measles, and health officials are warning many others may have been exposed. Health officials want to get this information out to anyone who may have been in the same place as the infected child, especially if they have not been vaccinated. Right now, they are pinpointing 3 public places where others may have been exposed to this: the walk-in clinic at Cheshire Medical Center and the Keene Montessori School last Thursday. Also, the United Church of Christ last Sunday. Measles is very contagious and can be spread through the air.
We would strongly encourage, patients and families to get themselves or their children vaccinated according to the recommended schedule. The vaccine, again, is very safe and is very effective, and this is the primary way to control and prevent spread of measles in our communities. And anyone who thinks they may have been exposed is urged to contact their doctor.
Polar Park will be able to accommodate 10,000 fans for the Worcester Red Sox season in 2021. We are now learning not all of those seats will be traditional. Paw Sox president Charles Steinberg said there will be about 7,500 traditional seats in Polar Park. The rest of the space will be in gathering places. The team is hosting a preview night at McCoy Stadium June 1st, where fans can meet with team executives to talk about the future of the ballpark. Hundreds took part in a motorcycle ride this past weekend to raise money for the Chester P. Tuttle Legion Post in Auburn. A 3-alarm fire destroyed the American Legion's building 2 months ago. The Auburn Fire Department helped organize Sunday's ride. The department says they will announce how much money they raised on Memorial Day when they present a check to the Legion.